nasty correction, and I can already tell you this is what we're going to see a lot more the coming 2 years. Even way worse than this. We now see numbers in red like Super minus 14%, Gala minus 12%, VRA, Trade Joe minus 11, 10%. And it's not a nasty correction as in what the hell? It's not a nasty correction as in the dump was like super hard. I mean, on the week we're still green, but it's more like in the time that it happened. If you look at the hour chart, for example, on Bitcoin, you can see that it happened in a matter of, well, at least an hour. We dropped with 9% for Bitcoin, which is quite a lot compared to what we have seen over the last like forever. Basically, we had a pretty decent correction right here as well, but that was already the 10th of December, so we're not used to these kind of moves down, right? And the altcoin market, it dropped a little further. I mean, Bitcoin minus 9%. If we do take a look at the altcoin market, you see that the candle is a little bit bigger and it dropped twice as hard. It's normal. That's the first thing I want to say. People are always looking for, oh, what's the news, right? What's the news? Sometimes there's no news. Sometimes it's just a long liquidation event, or people taking profits, and then the ball goes starts to roll, right? Why did altcoins drop more though, and why am I so calm about it? And I want to give you a little piece of advice in this video as well. This is my first video since a while because I got a kid. Hooray, all good. Thanks for asking. Some other videos were pre-recorded. Sorry if I'm lagging, by the way. My computer hasn't been working for a while. Anyway, I want to show you my strategy a little bit because there will be a big pump, I think, in Bitcoin pretty soon. And I want to be prepared, so I'm going to show you that. Now, why did the altcoin market drop a lot more? Simple, because the Bitcoin dominance went up during that move. So as you can see, it all is kind of back to where we were basically. But the Bitcoin dominance, as you can see, it spiked up very hard while Bitcoin went down very hard. So if more money is flowing into Bitcoin than into altcoins, but Bitcoin is going down, and you can imagine that altcoins are going down more. And now the altcoin market dropped 18% where Bitcoin dropped like 9%. However, this is what we are going to see a lot more. If we do take a look at the Bitcoin chart on the week, for example, especially in like on the week, you don't even, or on the BLX, you don't even see it out. But if you look at Bitcoin during the last bull market, for example, you see all these small corrections, right? But if you really look at it, these aren't really small corrections. Here, Bitcoin dropped 21% in the middle of a bull market. Here, Bitcoin dropped, well, 11% in the middle of a bull market. Even here, Bitcoin dropped with 31% in the middle of a bull market. And yeah, whatever you want to call this, but let's say this, at least here, Bitcoin dropped another 25% in the middle of a bull market, right? There's a lot of money flowing into crypto. So yeah, the money that's gets taken out of also causes these dips, right? And that's what we see in every single bull market. If you look at the bull market of 2017-18, it is nothing different. We had these big dips of 40% even. Here we had a dip of 40%. It's very normal, right? So this wasn't even that big, and it was actually pretty short-lived because, again, it gets bought up right away. I do think the reason that it gets bought up right away, that people feel like, yeah, but wait a second, the ETF is coming. It's pretty sure that the ETF is coming, right? And people feel like, yeah, I'm not gonna let this, dip exist. I want to buy that up. So that's very good. And in my opinion, man, even if Bitcoin dips towards $36,000, we are still super bullish. I want to talk about two things though. What my strategy is when it comes to altcoins, and how I am going to apply that. I think the time has ran out and I'm fully prepared right now. So I want to show you how, what, where, when, and I want to give you a little piece of advice because people sometimes get too bullish and that's gonna get you wrecked. Let's talk about that first, and then how to buy the extreme lows on the altcoin market, even though the altcoin market is far from its lows. First thing is this tweet. And this is how a lot of people think. And I do want to say something about this. This is just an example, right? But I saw this and I felt like, hey, it's a little inspiration right here. Somebody said, Illuvium has a pretty solid chart overall, and if you believe gaming is a narrative in 2024, it's a good one to think about. Oh, good. But the next sentence didn't make sense to me. It went to 4 figures before, so it has plenty of upside in that regard, right? And I think that especially a lot of new people in crypto, they think like that, right? They look at the all-time high, and to be like, oh, but it came from there, so it has a lot of potential to go up. But that's completely wrong, right? That's completely wrong. If you, for example, take Illuvium, you can see that Illuvium, yeah, if you compare the all-time high, yeah, dude, $1,900. It's now sitting at 84. So you might think like, yeah, well, 20x, right? Why not? Well, I can tell you why not. And a lot of people probably already know the answer to this, but that's there. A lot more tokens are in circulation back right now than what there were back then, right? So therefore, if you ever invest in crypto, you want to take a measurement, like if it's an older coin and you want to measure it, like, hey, where can it go? Skip the price. Don't even look at it. Price is never relevant. Price is it's super deceiving. Okay, it lies basically, right? What you want to do is take a look at the market cap, okay? Because Illuvium had a total market cap at the all-time high of around, let's round it up, $1.2 billion, okay? 1.2 billion. However, now Illuvium has a market cap of 500 million thanks to this dip. Let's say half, right? So that means that Illuvium, to go back to its all-time high, actually can do a 2x, and then we're back, right? Because then the project is worth $1.2 billion again. Although the price should be sitting at $190 instead of $1,900. So even though the price is still 10 times as low as it was over here, the valuation is the same, but that's because there are more tokens in circulation right now. Demand supply, right? So never look at price as a comparison, okay? Another example is, for example, I love this project. I love Illuvium, and I hope that the crypto market gets a good dip because I want to buy this thing. And I will show you one measurement and trading view. That's for me the biggest indicator if I should buy or not. Okay. Also, I want to do that, but Immutable, I feel like, man, I want to have it, but it's super expensive right now. And you might look at this chart and be like, yeah, okay, it's more expensive than what it was over here, but as far as where it came from, right? No, it is sitting at an all-time high, right? IMX just made an all-time high by far. It went twice over its all-time high. And it doesn't mean it cannot do a 10x from here. Matter of fact, I do believe that IMX from this price can do a 10x, actually. But the measurement, if you look at price, that's not correct. You cannot say, hey, it has to do a 4x and then it's at its all-time high. No, it already went over it twice. Okay, so please keep that in consideration, because it's what got me wrecked in the 2017-18 run as well, a little bit. Now, before I show you which indicator I will use before I will buy stuff, is this. So I might be wrong, but my narrative is that the Bitcoin ETF will come, right? I think everybody expect that by now, and there are some people, they say, no, it will get rejected, and then, well, the chance that it gets rejected is actually very small, okay? There's actually a good chance that it gets approved, and in my opinion, a lot has been priced in already. Okay, I mean, yes, not of course the actual money that's coming from it over time by these institutions, but the retail that's already in crypto. Hey, what do you think the reason is that we had this pump right here? If it wasn't for the ETF news, we did not had this pump already. I believe we probably pumped, but not this much, I think. So it's already a little bit priced in. But what I do think is that we will get an ETF, and that Bitcoin will respond positively to that. Still, it could jump to 50K, something like that. Maybe, I don't know exactly. Like that's like wet finger job. How do you say that? But we will get it, and it will pump Bitcoin probably. But what also will happen is that it will pump the Bitcoin dominance, because we have seen, when was it, 2 months ago, something like that, there was news, right? Bitcoin ETF approved. It was fake news, and it turned out to be fake news after 4 minutes. But what we have seen is that Bitcoin skyrocketed in 4 minutes, and the Bitcoin dominance skyrocketed in 4 minutes, right? But it stayed up there as well. But it went up so hard after 4 minutes. Most of the people in crypto weren't even there to see. So if the fake news lasted longer, we were way higher. So what I think is that once we get an ETF, the Bitcoin dominance will go up pretty hard. That could be the reason why it will touch like 58%, maybe 60, something like that. But why it will touch this, like this red area, this resistance area, in my opinion. This could also be the place where it tops out. For now, we're still in a big ass uptrend, right? I made a video a couple of days ago saying like, hey, we could see a little alt season if the Bitcoin dominance decides to close below the bull market support band. But you know, we didn't close below it. We wicked and we perfectly bounced off of it. That's so beautiful about the bull market support band, by the way. So dominance still in the uptrend. Sorry, no alt season yet. Altcoin is not bullish yet compared to Bitcoin. So what I think is that once we get the Bitcoin ETF, the dominance will rip, and that altcoins on the Bitcoin pair will go down hard. Like we already have seen that with a couple of altcoins just now. Gala on its Bitcoin pair, big dump. Super on its everything, right? And everything ran hard as well. But we see that we already have like these big dumps without any crazy news. Right? Without any crazy news. And because it wasn't crazy news, people thought like, yeah, fuck that, let's buy the dip, right? And therefore, some of these projects, you see a big spike, but got bought up right away. I do think that once the dominance goes up, these altcoins will go down pretty hard on their Bitcoin pair. And that's where I have my Bitcoin ready to buy altcoins with. Because after the Bitcoin ETF news, I don't see much reason to be in Bitcoin compared to altcoins. I did that for the since October 2022, basically, and that played out very well. Saved a lot of money, made a lot of money, but I now think that 2024 is the year for altcoins. And I think that will be the dip to buy, right? Altcoins on their dollar pair might go up because of the ETF. Probably go up because Bitcoin goes up, right? But on their Bitcoin pair, they will probably go down. So that's why I will buy. Now, if I have some dollars, by the way, what's my indication to buy? Right? Well, my biggest indication to buy is, like I said, the bull market support band. That's a super interesting moving average, which works very well. I think it was Good Morning Fam. Look, again, this is a beautiful example of when an asset is bullish and we are above the bull market support band. Whenever it goes down, it kind of bounces off of there, right? And then it goes up. A lot of altcoins, though, they're far from there, right? Superverse, bull market support band comes in at 30 cents, right? But by the time we get there, it might be sitting at 40, right? But that's the indication when we're close to that. That's one. Two, Fibonacci. It works, right? It just works, okay? So I just use my Fibonacci. Well, it's already here. I use my Fibonacci tool, and I can show you how I use it. Use your Fibby. Here's Fibby, right? Draw it somewhere. Right click. Go to the settings of your Fibbe. And yeah, here it is. These are my settings. Copy these. Perfect, right? Perfect. Works perfect. So what I do is I measure this move, right? Where it ran from the downside to the upside. You take it wick by wick, not close. Otherwise, it won't work. Now, the golden zone is the 0.5 and the 0.618. Okay, that's this. That's the golden zone. That's kind of where the bull market support band comes in as well, right? And you will see that with a lot of projects, right? And this is also where this is sitting, where we have this support right here. Makes a lot of sense as well, right? Back it up with some other things, of course. If you, for example, take a look at Trader Joe, I have no idea. I haven't used it on this yet. Here we go. Wouldn't you know? Golden zone, where does it come in? Bull market support band right here, right? So therefore I look at these charts and I'll be like, okay, you know, Trader Joe just added it, by the way, to my watch list. I do think that DEXs will do very well. But Trader Joe, okay, 60 cents. Yeah, nice. But, you know, it came from 20 right here. And it even came from 12 right here. And it went to 80 almost. So I'm buying it closer to the top than the bottom if I buy it now, right? So I rather wait a little bit. And, you know, if you can get it at 40, something like that, hey, it's a good price. It's a good place to DCA. Beam just, you know, just went there, by the way. Beam is a project that I really like, but just went there. IMX, let's take a real quick look at IMX. Here we go. So the golden zone kind of comes in together with this red area, which was previous resistance, which we can, by the way, now turn into support. And the bull market support band comes in there as well. And that would, you know, suggest that, hey, IMX 150, give or take. And this is another video where I can give you all my price targets, etc. But so you know how I measure it, right? AVAX, I mean, I want to buy some more AVAX later, I think, but price is not really there for me yet. If we do take a look at this, 0.5 at $30, 0.618 exactly at the bull market support band, and kind of in line with this big resistance over here as well, right? Patience is key, right? Because if I told you this 3 weeks ago, you would be saying, yeah, fuck that. AVAX, you know, sitting at $50. Okay, just wait, right? Because now it's already sitting at 37. Just an hour ago, it was sitting at 33, right? So who says in a couple of weeks it cannot go down to 24, right? And I'm not saying wait forever, because, hey, we might not see these prices. That's what I'm waiting for. What determines if you're already going to buy something or not? I guess it depends on how big your position is. I have some AVAX, so I'm not in a rush to buy, right? If I would have had no AVAX at all right now, but I really like it, hey, I can already dollar cost a little bit. Why not, right? Nothing wrong with that. So do take a look at that kind of stuff, and it will really help you, I think. And yeah, same thing. Look at these coins on their Bitcoin pair as well, because again, IMAX. Hey, the chart. I mean, look at this chart, right? It broke out completely. If you look at it on its Bitcoin pair, though, you see this, right? Now you can look at it like this. These white lines. It's in a downtrend and it broke out, right? But you can also look at it at these yellow lines. Right? And then you can say like, hey, it's ranging. And it was below the range for a while, but overall it's ranging. And every time it gets here, it gets rejected. Now it got rejected again. So, you know, people that buy it here because, hey, this time it might break out, wait for it to actually break out in that case, right? Because again, we've seen it got rejected, and we are on the way to go down again. Now, will we go all the way down here? Hey, that I don't know, and I would not wait on that completely. But that's why I would dollar cost, in my opinion, from the bull market support band, basically. Ronin chain, kind of the same as you see right here, top of the range. Then we have the downside of the range, which is kind of coming in over here, right? Ranging. Yeah, I'm not putting my Bitcoin in these altcoins at the top, right? Therefore, I think that if we do get an ETF, yeah, altcoins on their Bitcoin pair will do this because money is going into Bitcoin and not in altcoins. And later, then retail is going to put their altcoin money, their Bitcoin money into altcoins. Well, you want to do that before they do that. So that we basically, right? So you want to be a little sharp these days. Make sure that if you have Bitcoin, if you did apply the strategy that I apply, make sure that you have your Bitcoin on certain exchanges, that you don't have to trade it over and over, that you can just put it in, right? Because a lot of altcoins broke out recently, but that's too big of a pump for me. I'm not trusting that. Not buying this. Not buying this at least, right? We will get a good opportunity. Yeah, I'll wrap it up right there. If you want to have more insight, exclusive videos, there's a Patreon link down below. Join the family, and I'll see you soon. Oh yeah, and please like the video. Push it into the algorithm. We can do it.